Hello, boys and girls. Today we have a Greco from a Gob 900 GOB. Yes, this is from 1977. Yes, Guitar Revolution from Greco, 1977. In the height of the alembic craze, while the fellow was on tour, and well, it's together, but it has some issues. You see the curve there on the top and on the back? They fixed it, but it didn't go together very well. There's a rather large volute there. The headstock's thinner there than it is up here. There's a separation in the fingerboard. Probably happened when that did. It looks like it may have been glued. The customer's concerned about the stability of this area, and so am I. The crack runs in between these two tuners here, so it's not very strong, and I can't put splines in. Doesn't look like an original nut. We'll probably need to replace it. Another problem is that these pickups won't go down all the way, and they bump into the strings because the customer likes low action. These individual tail pieces are kind of interesting. They're actually adjustable in the back. The wood that it's made of, the laminates, look like ash, but the customer says it's not. Some other Japanese wood. Everything about this bass tells me that it was probably made in the Ibanez factory. Even the headstock Ibanez used later on. This headstock logo is really paper thin. I'm going to try to save it somehow. I can save that placard, and I have some number stamps as well. So my plan is to put new laminations on the front and on the back. It'll look kind of like an alembic. And I think that'll give that a lot more strength. I'll need to flatten out the front and back though, and figure out how to get it all squared up. It's got quite a bit of bow, but the good news is we're gonna refret it, so we can level the fingerboard and get it all nice and perfect. There's some sort of JB weld or epoxy product in there. It seems to be doing its job, so we won't worry about that. We'll replace those springs with foam instead. It'll allow me to lower the pickup just a little bit to make a difference. So I came up with this little jig here. It'll help me level off the front and back of the headstock. We're going to fix this jig to the front of the headstock with double stick tape. These two risers will provide a even height on either side. For the router base, we'll route just about there at the base of the volute. So we're going to get both sides nice and flat, and then we're going to add back some veneer in the style of alembic, for example, to get the thickness back to this headstock and reinforce this crappy repair here and make it strong again. I'm going to use some double stick tape to do that. So we're going to find the lowest point, which is probably about here, and make it so it's all one thickness. Got the extra big router base here. Okay, so there we go. I got that double stick tape to there. I have the body of the instrument elevated to get this more perpendicular with the table, but can't seem to quite get there. But I can put this here, and I'll have support from the lower edge here. And now, yeah, that'll just take just in case the double stick tape doesn't like being pushed down on by the router. Yeah, I think that'll keep this from popping off and disaster happening. Okay. We'll just continue on, get the whole thing flat, bring it over to my oscillating sander, and reshape that little scoop there. Now, if we can only get this off, I think probably a spatula will help. Nice. I think we might use this instead. This is what I use to make bridges with. It's the ultimately I decided against the jig on the drill press and decided just to sit the butt of the base on the floor and use the belt grinder. I like the larger radius as well. I'll get it close and finish it up by hand. Well, I didn't use the jig, but the sanding spindle is perfect for clamping that curved area and pushing it into the corner there of the volute. It's got some grip to it. Okay. Well, there's a little void there, but I don't think it'll be a problem. We'll get some more glue in there when we glue the last laminate on there. We have two on there now. I think it'll close up just fine. The rest of it looks pretty good. One more layer. Okay, we have two layers on. The last layer, this stuff, not really even sure what it is, so we'll go with it. I'm using fish glue for this operation. You don't need the little hairs though. I'll get all the schmutz off of there from the tape. Little naphtha helps dissolve it. Next we'll trim the rest off with a Dremel wheel. And finally, we clamped up the last few laminates. I wasn't able to find any reproductions of this particular Greco logo. Um, so I just removed it, and we're just going to go with something like this. We'll inlay that in there. Alright, so we're out of the spray booth. I hit it with some vintage amber, with a little bit of brown in there. Clean out the tuner holes for the Dremel. I loosely put the tuners on and got them lined up, and then put a little more pressure on them, and it created a mark where those two pins are on each tuner, and then that'll allow me to know where to drill those pinholes. I got a nice new set of number and letter punches. I put the original serial number back of the headstock there. Gonna make some starter holes with a punch. I like to make an etching here where the slots are going to go with a smaller, much smaller file, just to get it centered. After sanding to about 800 grit, I bring it to the buffer and give it a nice shiny shine. Shiny. Just a little dabble, do ya? Some super glue. Okay, time for the next phase. We're going to straighten out this fingerboard and refret it. I'm cleaning out the slots with a Dremel 1180 bit. I'll be using a little bit of fish glue for these frets, so I like to clean the fret wire from all the preservative oil they put on them. A little bit of alcohol or naphtha will work fine for that. Determine the radius we want, which is 10-inch radius. I like to cut the fret wire ahead of time, put it in my little organizer. I'm going to identify what all the anomalies are on the fingerboard and mark them with a piece of chalk. Give you an idea of generally what's going on. Yeah, I suppose the worst. Gonna mix up a little bit of fish glue. I like to thin it down a little bit. I like to sand the fingerboard to about 400 grit. I put a little bag of lead shot underneath the neck so it absorbs all the vibration when I hammer the frets. Keeps it from bouncing. When trimming the fret ends, I like to put a little downward pressure on my cutters. I don't want to lift the fret up and out of the slot if I can help it. And it's time to recrown the frets and put a new bead on the top. Being careful not to hit the very crown of the fret, just leave a little bit of sanded gray area there as a guide. Some people use a marker, that's fine. I don't usually do it. I usually use the light of the room or to see what I'm doing. When dressing the ends of the frets, I like to do a single pass just to soften the corner first. You sort of have to get in the zone and try to use the same amount of passes and the same angle and the same motion for each fret so you get a nice consistent look to the ends of the frets. And we'll give them a final sanding. Like the sand to about 800 to 1,000, sometimes even 1,500. A little steel wool to clean off all the schmutz. And now usually I tape off the fingerboard, or sometimes not, and bring it to my floor-mounted buffer. But I wanted to show you that it could be done with a Dremel and a polishing wheel, a little compound. It does a fine job. You don't need all that fancy equipment. Okay, it's time to get that nut in there and fine-tune the slots to the frets. I just use a little bit of super glue. You can use fish glue or tight bond if you want. It's all good. Time to fine-tune the nut slots to the strings. When filing the height, I place my finger behind the second fret and check the distance between the nut slot height and the first fret. there should be like a paper thin space there. It should make a little clicking sound. You know you're good. As long as it's not resting on the fret, you're doing fine. Be sure to adjust your neck to the amount of relief that you want before you cut the slots. Otherwise, if you have too much bow, you cut your slots and then you adjust your neck, you may find that you're buzzing against the first fret. And you don't want to do that. You'll need to start all over. That's how I like it. Oh, baby. You're looking so fine. Oh, yeah. I love it when you like and subscribe. Thank you, baby.